and our personality aren't just real, but they're impactful, they're clear, and they're on purpose. All right. So, you know who you are. Now it's time to align how you show up because that's really what's going to make the impact that you want to make when you're leading. So we're going to make sure that tone, that style, and I keep saying it because I want it to really be in your mind, your tone, your style, and your personality, that they aren't just authentic, but they are effective. It's not enough to be real if your realness doesn't reflect the vision and the values that you're called to lead in. It's not enough. So, quick question for y'all today. What do you think needs more alignment in your leadership? Is it the tone? Is it your style? Or is it your personality? What's one area where you feel your leadership feels off? And that's a good way to tell if you are lined up, if you are aligned in those three areas. If you feel off, if you feel off from who you truly are. Now, let's get honest in the chat. Those of you who are on live, let's get honest. What area do you feel like in your leadership feels off? I can share with you where I used to feel off. I don't feel off now, but I used to feel off in personality. I used to feel off in personality because I was trying to make sure I could still show up as an effective leader, be Christian, and still have a tone that would make people feel like they want to hear me again or they want to follow me at all. So mine used to be personality, and this was many years ago now, but I used to feel that way, like that area needed work in my life. And if you'll be honest with yourself, even if you're not honest in the chat, if you'll be honest with yourself about the area that you feel off in, it will make it much easier for you to align. So, what is that area that you feel off in your leadership? Is it tone? Is it how people feel when you speak? Is it your style? Is it your personality? What area is it? Because listen, I want to tell you quickly, authentic versus aligned, that there is a difference. First of all, authenticity is about being real. We know that. We say keep it real, keep it a buck, keep it 100. We want to keep it real. However, alignment is about being intentional. So you can be real and not be aligned. That's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to align that tone, that style, and that personality up with who you really are and how you really want to show up. So aligning that authenticity with um, intentionality about bringing who you really want to be to the table, to the meeting, to your leadership, wherever you are. Because you can be authentic and still operate out of old habits. You can still operate out of fear based tones. You can still operate out of outdated leadership models. You can still be misaligned in your branding if you are trying to establish your brand. You still can be misaligned. That's why it's important that you understand, yes, be authentic, but be aligned. That's why refining your tone, your style, and your personality is the next step towards being more impactful in your leadership. So think of it like this. Think of your leadership like music. Authenticity is playing your instrument. Alignment is playing it in the tune with the message that you want to send and the audience you're called to lead. Have you ever heard anybody play an instrument and it was all off tune? Think about it in that manner. So if you want to align your leadership, think of you playing your instrument, your leadership in the tune of the message you're trying to send to those that you're leading or those that you're called to lead. So let's walk through this a little bit. Let's walk through again, these three dimensions we talked about last time. Let's walk through them in tone. And what I want to do is let's walk through about three clarity questions for each one of these areas. This is to kind of help you kind of hone in, if you will, on maybe something perhaps you don't see right now, but it's going to help you see it clearer after these questions. So, in your tone, what does your voice say about you? What does your voice say about you? Does your tone sound like your actual values, or does it sound like someone else's script? Is your tone consistent across platforms? If you have more than one platform, is it consistent across those platforms and across situations? Is your voice empowering, approachable, clear, and confident? And if you can answer those clarity questions, it's going to help you fine tune and align your tone. Let me give you this tip as it relates to aligning your tone. If you're passionate, speak like it. If you value peace, for example, your tone shouldn't sound like pressure. I said, if you value peace, your tone shouldn't sound like pressure. So let your voice match your values. Align your tone so that when you speak, you're not just speaking and it's all over the place, but it is in alignment with your values. Okay, for that second dimension in style, are you leading in a way that reflects your design? And these are the questions. The clarity questions are you compensating with styles that aren't yours? For example, are you aggressive when you're wired for empathy? Is your leadership style creating connection or just control? If your leadership style is only excited, if you will, you're only excited if everybody is doing things that you can control. Is your leadership style really creating connection or control? And then the third question is, do you energize people? Are you energized? Are you energized or are you drained when it comes to your style? If you're drained, that's how you know it's off. But if you are energized, you might be going in the right direction. And this is your alignment tip for your style. Your most effective leadership happens when you lead from natural rhythm, not a template. It's easier to be natural. Forced is frustrating. Forced is to me stressful. If you got to force it, what's the point? But lead from a natural rhythm. Style isn't about trends, y'all. I know trends are all over every social media platform, if you will. It's about traction, not trends. How you move forward with consistency and clarity. That's what it's about. It's not about trends, it's about consistency and clarity. And then your personality, that third dimension. Are you showing up fully or filtering yourself down? The clarity questions for you are this: what parts of your personality are you hiding to fit in? If you've ever hid who you really are so you can fit in a room or in a meeting or in whatever it might be, then now you're not bringing your full personality. And some people want to get in. Y'all come on in then. Come in. Do people feel like they're getting the real you? Do they feel like they're getting the real you or the leadership version of you? And then the last clarity question for personality is: are you trying to be liked or are you trying to lead? Because in trying to lead, you may not always be liked. So are you trying to lead or are you trying to be liked? And this is your personality tip. This is your alignment tip right here. Your quirks, your humor, your humanity, it builds trust. I keep saying that. It builds trust. Don't suppress them. Refine and integrate them. Because when it's all said and done, people follow people. Don't lose your humanity in pursuit of authority. Don't lose who you really are in personality just so you can gain authority. People will follow you as the authority if you build trust with them. And that means be human. Be human. Let people get the real you. Now, I'm not talking about misrepresenting leadership. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying acting out of character. I am saying allow the real you to come forth, who you really are, showing up fully in your personality, the parts of you that fit you, so that people get the real you. We're not following robots yet. I know they're trying to go that way, but people follow people. All right. So let me tell you some of what misalignment looks like. I want to tell you these red flags because you need to know it for you, not so you can so much identify it for someone else, but you need to know it for yourself because you need to know you. You need to be able to audit you. So if your tone feels forced or rehearsed, you already know red flag. I'm not being myself. I'm not bringing my real self. If your leadership style changes based on the room you in, red flag. We're not chameleons. If you shrink in spaces where you should shine, I want to say that one again. If you shrink in places where you should shine, red flag. You're not bringing your real self. You're misaligned. If people admire your work, but they don't actually know who you are, red flag. And let me tell you how you'll know. If someone comes up to you and shake your hand and say, "I admire your work, leader. You do great work. I admire what you do." But who are you? Who are you really? So if any of these things happen in your leadership, those are red flags for you. They're red flags for you to realign yourself. If you've ever left a meeting and thought, that didn't feel like me, that's your sign. Let's fix that. Because if nothing else, you want to know that you know that you know that when you walked into that room, you gave your real self, you used your real tone, and you used your real style in leadership. So when you leave that room, you'll say, "Hey, I did the best and I was my best and I operated as who I really am." Who can argue with that? Your real self will be proud of you. All right. So let's do this. If you are in the chat, whether you are on IG, YouTube, TikTok, what area do you think you need the most work in? Let's get honest in the chat. If you know it's tone, then put tone in the chat. If you know it's style, put style in the chat. If you know it's personality, put personality in the chat. And I want to say this, like I say sometimes when I'm teaching Bible study, real people get real help. If you would be real, then you can really get the help that you need. And this is not to make anyone feel like you're not the only one. All of us have been here where we need to refine, and some of us are still refining our tone, our style, and our personality. This is not to say that anyone is better or has one up on another one. This is a space of no judgment and a space of leadership development and help as we gather together here on Tuesdays. So let's get honest. If you know this particular area is an area that you need the most help in, identify it and let's fix it. Let's fix it. So I may or may not post anything tomorrow as it relates to our conversation today. This is some inward work that each one you need to do individually in identifying these areas that you actually need the work and then actually do the work. Do the work in the different areas to align yourself so that you show up as a leader and make a greater impact, refining that tone, that style, and refining your personality. So you bring in your best, no matter what room you're in, no matter what position you hold, no matter where you are, you're bringing your best. And if you show up like I said earlier, the example I gave, if you treat your leadership like it's music and you're playing your your instrument will sound like your values. It will sound like the message that you are trying to send to your audience. And if in any area where it's off, we talked about those red flags. If there's any area where you know there's red flags you see about you, not about anyone else, then realign it. Ask yourself those clarity questions. So you can align your voice. That means your tone. You can align your design or your style, how you lead, and you can align uh, your real self or your personality and show up fully. All right, y'all. So listen, if you have any questions or any input that you want to add to this conversation, please don't hesitate to put it in the chat. Let's see. We're talking about refining our authenticity through our tone, through our style, and through our personality. So, our tone is how we make people feel when we speak. Our style is actually how we show up our real self, like not faking it, not trying to be someone that we're not trying to copy someone else. That's our style. And then our personality, that is, you know, when we're showing up in our own way, in our own without filters, if you will, without filters. We're showing up with our own quirks, our own humor, our own humanity, so that we can build trust with the people that we lead. That's right. That's right. Being who we are, period. Being who we really are. And the truth of the matter is, when people are faking it, people don't follow fakeness, they follow realness. They follow real people, follow real people, and that's important. All right, y'all. So if there are no other questions in the chat, I want to leave y'all with something. I want to first of all, I want to tell you these red flags again. These red flags are for you, not for somebody else. If your tone feels forced or rehearsed, red flag. You're going to have to realign yourself. Don't try to change who you are to fit the room you're in. Be who you are. If your leadership style changes based on the room you in, red flag. That's a red flag for you, because you don't have to become who you're not in order to be accepted in a certain room. You just got to be who you are. If you shrink in spaces where you should shine, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. People admire your work, but they don't actually know who you are. And I gave that example. People can say, "Leader, I like the work you're doing. You're doing great work, but who are you?" They don't really know who you are as a person. They see what you do, but they don't know who you are. And if any of those are happening, those are red flags for you. It's red flags for me. If I find myself in any of these situations, it's time for me to realign. I need to realign, because I can't be who I am not. And God can't bless who I am not. He can only bless who I am. And if you want all that comes with leading and leadership, period, then you're gonna have to bring all of you. You gotta bring all of you. All right. So I want to leave you all with this before we get out of here. Authenticity is where we started last week. We talked about being authentic. This week, we talked about alignment, aligning that authenticity. Alignment is how we grow. When your tone, your style, and your personality are aligned with your leadership calling, you become unforgettable. Did y'all hear that? I said, you become unforgettable, not because you were loud, but because you were clear, you were real, and you were consistent. People don't forget people who are clear, real, and consistent. They don't forget you. They will not forget you. If nothing else, they'll remember, oh, I remember that person. I remember them because they remember who's clear, who's real, and who's consistent. So if this particular spoke to you, if this particular live spoke to you, and you know there's someone else that needs this conversation, share with them that every Tuesday at 4 p.m., we are meeting live right here on TikTok, IG, and YouTube. We are meeting live and we're sharing value in the leadership space. And I invite any of you who are leading, even right now, to come and jump on the platform with me and just share anything that you would like to, add in value to the leadership space, for sure. And the more that we allow community to come in and share value, the better off we're going to be. I appreciate it, Latoya. It's good having you on. Good having you on. So I definitely invite you to come jump in any Tuesday that you can and just share with us something, as it relates to leadership, as it relates to the topic. You're welcome to jump in and share. Jump on the platform and share something. If you'd like to share something now, let's see. Okay. All right. So just remember that, y'all. The more you are you, the more people will know you, the more people will trust you, the more people will follow you. People follow people. All right, y'all. If we have any questions, trying to see if there's anything on IG. If you have any questions or any input you want to share, you're welcome to share it before we get off. See, we got a few more minutes before we get off. All right. Remember, y'all, we're talking about authenticity, but today we're aligning. Remember, authenticity is about being real, but alignment is about being intentional. So you got to be intentional about aligning your authenticity, aligning that tone, that style, that personality. And as you align, you will see that people will begin to trust you, people will begin to follow you, and people will begin to look to you because they follow what's real, what's consistent. They follow that. All right, y'all. And they follow, don't forget, they follow who's clear, clear, real, and consistent. They follow it. And I just want to encourage you all, you're not too much. Sometimes people are afraid to bring the real them because they think they're too much. You're not too much. You're just the truth of the matter is we all need at some point in time some alignment because we may be a little bit misaligned. But the truth of the matter is how you lead with your true voice, your rhythm, and yourself. That's what causes you to be remembered. When you move forward in all that you are in tone and style and personality, people don't forget that. They don't forget that. All right, y'all. Well, I got to bring this live to a close as I have to teach something else in about an hour and a half. And so I want you all to take what we talked about today. I'll try to post some clips at some point in time later this week. If you go on IG, you can watch the full thing, the full live there. On TikTok, I'll post portions of it when I get around to doing that. But thank you all for joining us today. This has been our time as spending our time talking about aligning our authenticity. And this is our Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. Share this with another leader who needs this conversation. All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.